Alright guys, we're back in my garden and I'm just going to mow the lawn today and give you a little look. Here's our stash of plants that we got from the garden centre, and one of the flowers has just come out. Looking very nice. Can't remember what that was, but anyway, we'll show you all the stuff in situ, but it's quite overgrown down here at the bottom. This is where it got most of the water from the boys playing with a hose. Don't know if it's been 3 or 5 weeks since I've mowed the lawn, but it's time for a mow. And if it was normal weather this summer and not incredibly wet, which is what we've had, very wet summer, then this grass would be very brown and dry. So we've got our work cut out for us for next year. And look, there's a type of grass in here that's gone a bit funny. It's gone a bit yellow at the edges. There's lots of different grasses in here. I'm going to cut it on the highest setting, and the long-term plan for this grass is to sieve a load of soil onto it. Actually, I'll show you a couple of test areas I've done. Sieved some soil on, and we want to put down some grass seed and then sieve some soil on top. The grass seed is just going to introduce another variety of grass that will hopefully help things along and thicken it up after we'd taken out all that moss. And then the soil, really mainly to get a bit more organic matter into the ground to help it retain moisture. So that's the plan, because next summer it's just not going to maintain any moisture, and I'm sure it's going to be drier than it was this year because it was so wet. And the kids play area over here, the grass seed's taken very well, so we'll give that a bit of a trim down. And yeah, looking good. And oh, Steve's, I'll show you what Steve's doing. Oh, and I'll show you a couple of quite nice plants that have popped out as well. There's a few nice plants. So Steve's taken out all these wild strawberries because they didn't really yield anything. The boys weren't particularly interested in them, and they're spreading like wildfire. Started off as a little patch, but see all these runners here? They're just spreading and spreading, and I think they'll end up being quite invasive because there's nothing really to compete against it at the moment. So he's pulling those out. We're going to take out this grass because I just don't like it. It's just a bit pointless in there, I think, and it does smother things, although there is this sort of nettle type plant that comes through with a nice flower. I've got the seeds for it and the name for it. I can't think what it is yet. And then there's this really nice phlox that's come out. I discovered I really like this sort of flower. That's a late summer flower, and we're going to finish clearing up this area. So a few twigs and things on the floor that we're just going to sort of rake up, pick up and put in the bag. Get the bags in the back for shredding later, because we're going to try and keep everything and then everything we produce from this garden. And there's some dreaded ivy and some grass in there, just normal grass that we're going to weed out. So a few things going on, and I was thinking we could grow the kiwi up this tree maybe, but I'm going to think on that because we don't really have anything else. Oh, there is this thing. This comes out with pink flowers in the winter. In fact, it's already coming out with pink flowers. That's fantastic. They're very fragrant as well. Yeah, they are. They're very nice. Like they smell like a hyacinth, if you can picture that. And I guess the flowers are kind of clustered like a hyacinth to a certain extent. Little flowers clustered together, but that's going to start flowering from now all the way through the winter until the spring, which is a fantastic plant to have. And I'll probably take a cutting from it, and there's a good bit of cutting material just there that you can see, and up there. So lots going on. These golden ones are fresh out, and the other plant I wanted to show you is over here. I'd seen it in the garden centre, and so if you have a look at that video, spent some birthday money in the garden centre that, again, past its best, but some really nice bright flowers just popping out. Not sure if that's a phlox as well, might not be. And this hydrangea is just coming into its best. So hydrangeas give you some really nice late summer colour, and that can be quite a challenge. And these geraniums, I mean, they just keep flowering forever. I'd like to get some different colours in. I've got a customer who's got a very dark coloured one. Oh, and there's another flower here. Again, it might be another phlox, but a really possibly quite an unusual one. It's got that variegated flower where it's white and pink, almost purple colour. And there's another one there just about to come out. So we'll definitely be saving seeds from those, and we've started a seed bank, which I showed briefly in one video, which we'll be using to populate the far back corner. Sorry, the far back border. And it's a massive border. It comes out to at least 15 foot in areas. 10 foot at the least, 15 foot at the most. It's a big border. So anyway, I'll get on with mowing the lawn, just seeing if there's anything else that's a bit interesting here. I think that's a white mallow, and then the oregano, golden, and the colour, the light leaf and the darker leaf look very nice together, and they're flowered prolifically. I often see oregano that just doesn't flower at all, but that's in a very sunny position. And the fuchsia coming out nicely. And these things are very nice. I haven't identified their name yet, but I will. They've kept going for quite a while, from sort of mid to end summer, and I wonder if this is another phlox, but it's got lots and lots of white buds that are just about to come out, so that's going to be really interesting to see what that ends up being. And I just want to save loads of seeds and see what stuff is. This is flowering very profusely compared to the others, and it's not on a particularly sunny side, so that'll be a different variation of the species we've got elsewhere, so that might be really interesting to mix in. And it's got quite a bit more of a magenta colour, if you get what I mean. Different shades of magenta, which I really like in plants. I really like a magenta colour. Alright, we'll have a mow. Alright guys, so mowed the lawn, and we've got the new tool out, but this is what the lawn looks like anyway. You can kind of see the stripes, but not as well in real life. It's not really a stripy lawn. It's got so many different species of grass in it. It's had a lot of recovery to do as well since taking all the moss out at the start of the year, which you can see on the channel, the videos of it all the progress. But I've got the shredder out, and just processing this bag of waste, and you can see that it was full, so we're probably about a fifth of the way down, maybe a quarter, and most of it's gone in this bag. And we've got little very thin twigs that have made it through the shredder and haven't been shredded, and that's fine. And then we've got more sort of wood chippy material, so lots of sticks and then some wood chip, but the sticks, they're thin enough that they will compost down. And I'm happy to have sticks and organic matter like that in the compost. It doesn't just need to be really soft green waste. So it's basically shredded it and chipped it up into something that's now compostable, whereas before we were looking at getting rid of it in the tip, and that would have been energy lost from our garden. All our plants have spent their hard work making. And but bit of a waste of some good compost, and ultimately it's a natural fertilizer and retains moisture in the garden. Steve's pulled out all these weeds, so we're leaving all the other weeds in to compete with each other, and as we've been collecting seeds, we've been putting seeds down as well, from the leftover sort of seed heads. So we've been breaking them up around that back border. And he's also pulled out, do you remember that sort of light green coloured grass type material? That was all through here. And again, we've spread some of these seeds from this sort of nettle leaved plant, and just getting this right hand section of the border sort of tidied up. So pulled out some of these, well, it's just full of twigs really, and also pulling out some ivy. So a bit of ivy under there, and then a little bit of ivy left there, and then some grass still to go. So I'll probably get that done by the end of this. And then just dismantling the boy's den now, which I've told him about and he understands. So putting the sticks in a pile, and we're getting to a point where we'll be able to start planting up this border. And I've bought some plants from the garden centre, if you check out that video. And also we'll be sowing a lot of seeds from all the flowers that we've been collecting seed from, and especially hopeful to collect seed from this phlox. And it's interesting, I noticed this phlox is the first one to come out, and it's got quite a big flower for some, and white, which is very nice, and I presume the seeds will develop there. And so it's just sort of starting to go over, and then further down the border closer to the house is this one, which is just coming out, and it's a bit shadier in this area, so it's a little bit further behind, but looking very nice. And then even closer into the house and even shadier still, we've got this one, which is I saw earlier and thought it might be a phlox, and it is, and it's just a bit later to come out. So it's nice to have that gradual flush of colour where some are coming out later than others, and it just makes it all last a bit longer. And then there's this thing in there. We had a load of them nearer the front in this sort of area, and looking very nice indeed. So the sun's come out, and there are an awful lot of bees, and oh, there's a butterfly just gone past there. Get quite a lot of the white butterflies, and then we get a lot of bees on the lavender, and they like the other flowers too. And quite a sunny day, and a bit of cloud as well, so we've not been getting too roasted. But yeah, well, stay tuned for any updates, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see how all this develops. We've got 200 tulip bulbs coming in autumn. Alright, in a bit. Right, so the sun's come out with a vengeance, and it's hot, 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 but we're tidying up, and this is where we've left it. So we've got all, so from basically here onwards, we've got all the ivy out, any loose bits of grass, and that area where we had to go is ready now for planting, basically. So that's really good. It's a really good milestone to get to. Made a couple of 3 bags of wood chips. That little tub is full as well, and then 1 bag went into the compost, and I'll show you our holding area for all the waste now. And it genuinely is just a holding area while it gets processed. I know I'll process it. This is Dalek. One of my customers calls them Daleks, and you can see why. And there we go. It's wood chip on top, and then below that is grass, and then below that we've been using, thanks to someone mentioning in the comments actually, we've been using kitchen waste in there now, things like banana skin, vegetables from cooking, you know, offcuts and stuff. This will all be dug out. It's good old compost that retains its moisture, and we'll sieve it on top of some grass seed on the lawn, and hopefully not only will it help to reseed the lawn and put another few species of grass in that might help it stripe a bit better, but also the compost will help the lawn maintain its moisture next year, because it will really struggle. So we need to start preparations from that already. And then here's the holding area. And if I have a look, this is the bag that was full. It's now got about a quarter to a fifth left in the bottom. So we got through most of the bag. So if we'd done that whole bag, it would have given us sort of 4 of those little bags of wood chips. And then this is what we got today off the border. And this is probably the limit of what the chipper will do. So we can chip all that. We can chip all this if we want to, or we can save it and make biochar. And then this is all pretty dry now. It's all things like mainly ivy with reasonably thick stems, so that'll chip up really nicely, and it'll make sure it kills it off, and we can actually compost it instead of just having to get rid of it. Yeah, 2 bags of ivy. So we've got some great stuff we're not really going to be able to process, and ultimately probably will have to tip. Are these things, you know, logs and trees. This is a dead tree that we pulled out, and then a couple of other things were things that we pulled out, like conifer type things, evergreen things. So lots still to do. But we've got a process, and that's important, having a process and knowing what we're going to do with the things and having a reason behind it. I mean, we could chop those logs up and make a log pile, so we could keep those in the garden, so maybe we'll do that. But I mean, there it is, the end of quite a long week and a beautiful day. So see you soon.